Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday the 14th. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, it's halfway through October and I'm still busy setting up this product. But that's okay. Um I've decided we're going to do it's okay. We're going to do half the project before the election and then another week or two after. Like that's going to be the cadence. Still aiming for about 12 to 16 charts and stories. It just been shifted a little bit. It's okay. Took a while to do the setup, but I hope now that a lot of the setup is complete, then I can like really get running with it. Um, it's a weird metaphor because I don't like running, but yeah. And sorry for the little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning. I realized that I forgot to switch things back to my regular kind of dataviz stream settings. So we are back. Thank you to everyone that joined yesterday. I had a stream at 2 p.m. where I tried Webflow for the first time, and that was super fun. It was like even more fun than I was expecting. So please, if you're interested, check out the VOD for it. Um, oh, thank you, Gilliam says most important is informing. Doesn't need to be before the elections. Um, so yeah, people began doing that a while ago anyway. Yeah, so that's what I'm telling myself. I think I just like have this problem where like if I set my mind to do something and then like it doesn't go according to like how I planned myself doing it, then I get upset with myself. So I'm like, you failed to stick to your words or something, which is unnecessarily strict with myself. So also trying to get better with that. And as you know, we discussed yesterday about the fourth emote being like the anime meme of the high school student running out the door with toast in mouth. I did not plan this. I didn't mean to do this. I like got coffee and toast ready before the stream, and I was gonna eat it before the stream, but then I like got busy messaging, so then didn't get to eat. Like actually, here there's like a few bites taken out of it. So also on my really cute Totoro plate. But yeah, so I attempted, but now I'm gonna I guess eat as we stream. Um yeah. um and then also husband experimented with egg coffee today. And then nah, uh and so there's this that I'm drinking this morning. Mm. Hi Alice, welcome to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Um, oh no. First 10 minutes is my browser realizing I don't have much bandwidth and gradually decreasing quality. Oh, I did noticing, wow, words this morning. Obviously need to have more of my coffee. Um, uh, I also noticed that like in the beginning of my stream, I think people are like slowly trickling in as opposed to for this like 10:30 slot as opposed to when it was like the 2 p.m. slot. I think I like usually I felt like there was people from the very beginning. So then I guess I want to pose this question. I should probably also pose this question a little bit later when people have like trickled in more. If this 10:30 a.m. Slot is working well for you, just because I don't know if the trickling in is because of the fact that it's 10:30 a.m. Or if because I started doing this like talking part, and so maybe people are like, oh, I don't need the talking part, and so I'm just gonna go like wait until she does the code part. I don't know, but I would love your feedback. Hello, welcome back, Mash Fedorova. Um, love to know what you've all been up to this week or this past weekend. I got distracted by this yesterday, but um, I we went when we went grocery shopping yesterday. I mean, on Saturday, there was like all these really cute tiny pumpkins, um, and so I picked some up. I'm very excited. I'm gonna like make some like resin crowns and like witches hats for them. That's my hopefully weekend project. Um, if I can ever get enough of my election project done to get to this weekend project, where I just play with resin again. But yeah, um, I don't know. Was that true, Gillian? I felt like um, there was felt like the other one at 2 p.m. I felt like people were there. A lot more people were there right from the beginning. So I don't know. Maybe this is just although I guess at the 2 p.m. slot it was only supposed to be an hour. So maybe yeah. I have no idea. But mm, one more sort of like a housekeeping sort of thing. Not housekeeping, logistics sort of thing, which is had a lot of fun yesterday playing around with Webflow, and we're going to finish the we're going to finish it up. We're going to have our second stream on Friday at 10:30 a.m. So this exact time, we're going to be finishing the rest of the Webflow project website building, and Nelson from his handle is the Pixel Geek. Nelson from Webflow will be joining me to help me kind of finish up the entire website. Which means I need to figure out, like, I'm like scrambling around for this because I am so scared about the combination of OBS, Webflow, and Zoom on my laptop. I'm really scared about this. I don't know what to do. Last night I was like, should I just go and get a Mac Mini? And that might be something I look into today. So yeah. The time may have come. Hi, Majestic Mag. Thanks for joining the chat today. Okay, so let me catch you up on everything that's happened with the election project thus far. So let me see. So on Friday, we kind of got started with this, and wait, hold on, let me show you. So on Friday, we got started on something along these lines, where, you know, there was like bars on both sides. On one side was kind of essentially the potential for a different outcome, and the other side was the margin of victory. And I knew that I had a lot of like trouble explaining the concept, which is always like kind of a sign that like maybe I've like overcomplicated things. So I tried to I've tried to kind of put it into this story. So the idea is that this is you would swipe through this on your Instagram. So like you would like carousel swipe, and as you swipe, the story is you know, starts from just one county, Dakota County in Minnesota. It says, you know, this is the number of rejected mail-in ballots. And this is how much the margin of victory was. And then, so that leaves, you know, 50, oops, my mouse is super sensitive. And that leaves about 50,000 rejected ballots, more than the margin of victory. And those are the ballots that could have changed the outcome. And so there were 27 counties with at least twice the rejected mail-in ballots. 21 of them were in Minnesota. And this is everything by, and this is the same view by state. And then it's kind of like Minnesota, a swing state in 2016, had 13 times more rejected mail-in ballots. And then like some information on what to look out for so your mail-in ballot isn't rejected. So, thank you, Gilliam. Potential for a different outcome is perfect. Glad to hear that. Took a really long while getting to that point. So the only problem, well, I think other than, yeah, so the biggest problem with this piece is that I was like, why is the number of mail-in ballots so high for Minnesota? Tried to like Google around for it and was like, couldn't find anything of like why like the mail-in ballots would be like rejected would be 620,000. Um, so then I asked one of my experts. He went digging around. He was able to find essentially the absentee ballot report from the Minnesota state government. So instead of the like ones collected at the national level, which is what I've been using, the Eves data set is like essentially collected at the national level. He was able to dig around and like find the actual report from the state level. Turns out um, Minnesota had accidentally filed um, uh, accidentally filed or inputted their number of accepted mail-in ballots into the column for the number of rejected mail-in ballots. So that number is actually the number of accepted mail-in ballots. So yeah, really glad we caught that. Um, really, really glad and grateful to my, like, so glad that my domain expert consultant was essentially able to catch that. And also glad that he like went and did that research because I like don't know if I would have known where to look, if that makes sense, or the time to have known where to look. But yeah, so basically, uh, he was able to find the reports, and then I cross-referenced it with my data set. So there's that like PDF that he was able to find with like all the table of like accept like number of accepted ballots, like rejected ballots, return ballots, etc. And so I just cross-referenced that with my data set, and then I was like, huh, these numbers, and they weren't exact matches either. Like some counties were like exact matches and some counties were like off by like maybe one magnitude, like maybe like if it was supposed to be 2000, then like my data set had like maybe like 1700 or something. But I think the report he found is the audited version, so I would trust that, which means yeah, and I realized because like I cross reference and I was like, yeah, so that number matches that number. um so we have to scrap this story. um, and which is, like I think I like you guys in the chat was like maybe this is a data input error, and I was like, yeah, there's a possibility. But if not, then this is really interesting. And I had it in my mind that I should go and look into this. But then it's just like I don't know what was happening in my mind, but I just ended up creating this first. Um, so yeah, we're checking the story out. I was like pretty bummed yesterday. I was like, oh, I spent so long and I stayed up late to make this. That's okay. Like one, learned a lesson, which is I think I was trying too hard to like make something to like publish like mid this week. I was like, oh, I need to get one going because like the website is scheduled to launch next Monday. I need to have something like at least two or three things for it. So I think I was like rushing too much and like I didn't put enough time into like verifying the data, which I should have. So that's the first lesson. The second thing is like I think it's okay because at least I was able to put in the time to kind of figure out like a style or a color palette. Obviously, this isn't going to be the color palette every single time, but at least like some sort of like at least I was able to go around and figure out like a style that I'm excited about uh for the um yeah, for Instagram. And another thing that was great is like my other expert is also a designer, and she was telling me about how like the current design I have, it's a little bit like the text and the bars are kind of really fighting for attention because of the fact that they're about the same size. And so she kind of gave me a lot of good feedback about like the information hierarchy, like from a design side, um, which is great because I only really think about the design of the visualization, and I'm not as good about like design of like the rest of like things that are outside of the visualization. And like like I'm only really experienced with like, yeah, like annotating visualizations, and I'm not as good with like these kind of graphic sort of things. So um also learned something there. So overall, I think it's okay. I was bummed for a few hours and I think I rebounded. um so yeah. Oh, Gilliam, I haven't had a chance to do anything offline yet. Um, but I'm hoping to get it to a good point by Thursday afternoon, so that on Friday morning, we'd be able to concentrate on maybe like some of the kind of like more advanced uh yeah, some of the more advanced features. Like it'd be great to have him there, kind of guiding me with like the animations or the forms, or um. So let's see, Missile, hello. Says snowbirds? Question mark. Um, not quite sure what that means. I'm already talking confidence score. Um, stripes too. My first programming teacher used to repeat at least once per lesson, always trust user input. I hope you mean, like, I hope your teacher meant it ironically. um, yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce your handle. Exotic? Hmm. Yeah, so these are, this is all JavaScript. Yeah, so the rest of this annotation was done in Illustrator. Oh, I didn't know that. So snowbirds is apparently the slang for in northern states where older folks mail absentee ballots because they move south for the winter. Huh. Um, William says user input. Yes, that was ironic. um, yeah, meant to teach us how to make things happen without worrying too much about error handling. Yeah, and I think that's another thing of, yeah, like if this if there was a um longer timeline for this, then um I think we would have had more time to verify the like actual data source. I mean, I think this one we were able to catch because it was so egregious. Egregious? Yeah. Um, but I'm sure there's a lot of like tiny little input errors that we may or may not catch. And that's just something that we have to acknowledge in the methodologies. So, um, was bummed about this yesterday, but then I realized that we could still kind of salvage this a little bit, like this idea. So instead of using rejected ballots, what we could potentially use is the number of voters removed. We're back to this. We're back to. Oh, also, I've been struggling with like there's some sort of a permissions error for this data explorer that ever since I put in local storage, it seems to be not working for anyone else but me. So I don't know. but I think it's a local storage error of like, I think maybe if you don't have local storage enabled, maybe is, I'm not 100% sure what the error is, but like it errors out for everyone else. Um, and I've only been able to kind of narrow down the error to the fact that I add it in local storage to like kind of remember um, some of these choices I make. Liam said there were two counties with that level of discrepancy, though. Yeah, so Minnesota was one of the states with a lot of this discrepancy, and Nebraska also looked um, really odd. Um, and so I think my consultant is going to look at Nebraska also, and then see if they had some data input errors too. So for this one, if you go in, if it defaults to empty charts, try changing around the numerator and denominator. So yeah, so yesterday I was like, as I was brainstorming some more, and as I was kind of like going through some of the stories that like my consultants kind of put together, which I'm really excited about, I realized that we could potentially do this again, this angle, which is the number of voters removed because they failed to respond. So this failed to respond again. Um, but this time, in the context of, because this failed to respond is like if they didn't respond to the notifications that the county sent about, like, it essentially asking if they're, still in the county or if they're still going to vote, then they were removed. So then I think the angle of this could be like, wait, hold on. This is all no. Let's look at all jurisdictions. So let's compare the number of voters removed to the margin of victory and see like how many. Yeah, so sometimes it was like 80 times or like 40 times. Hi, Amy. Hello. Thanks for joining today. Um, oh, um, I was wondering if you're having your stream this afternoon, because I've been looking forward to joining it. But on Wednesdays, we go and get takeout from this restaurant that we really, really like. So I just want to make sure that if you're streaming, then we go to get the takeout after your stream. Um, Ooh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I've been wanting to see like your Halloween spooky Animal Crossing island. Um, ah, yeah. So Gilliam, I'll try debugging this off stream again. I don't know why, but like it's obviously like, showing up for me, but then somewhere in the stream of like data loading, the permissions aren't fully working out. Um, Team Bonnene. I actually go to Bonnene. So Bonnene is a restaurant that we used to go to a lot. I actually go there for takeout every few weeks. So, um, yeah, there's been some new dishes that she's added that I quite enjoy. Okay, so I think that there's a good story here. So for today, what I want to do is I want to kind of jot down my design ideas for two different stories. One is this one. So this one is going to be really similar to this design that I already have. So this design, but I think the reason why I still want to kind of like draw out some potential designs for that story is because I think based on everyone's reactions last time as I was designing this, like this design is extremely confusing and it takes a lot of explaining. So then I think I'm gonna rethink the design for like, yeah, the number of voters removed. Essentially, the story is like, look at how many voters were removed from this county. If they have voted, the margin, like essentially, the results could have been completely different because it's so much more than the margin of victory. Um, Hi, Chris. Hello. I saw right before the stream that you tweeted something. That was about, I think I saw that it was something about like, is it a newsletter you do or and so yeah, thank you for the mention. Um so let's design this one first, and then my second idea that I wanted to design for today was another part. So there's like two main things that or three main things that we're trying to concentrate on before the election, and that is one, to make sure your voter registration is still active. That one is like we have to do that right away because a lot of states the voter registration has already closed, but then there's some states where you can do same day registration. So I'm going to do just like one story around that, and then the others are going to be stories concentrated on mail-in ballots, and making sure that like you send them in as early as possible, and make sure that like we don't make any errors when filling it out. And the third one is about trying to do early voting. So the second design that I wanted us to get through today is showing essentially the early voting, whether there were more poll workers per person during early voting or during election day. And that one is the overall message is trying to be like, hey, try early voting this year because it's there's a pandemic and uh, like please try to vote early this year is that story. So yeah, those two are the ideas. And let me pull up my iPad and we're going to do those two designs. Ah, okay, so Alice has a great question of so how did I end up reusing the data that I found to be incorrect because of the source inputting it is wrong? So I so the data set that I have, do you mean like how did I end up reusing the whole data set, right? Because I have to trust that like um that the data input errors aren't like across the whole data set. Okay, so hold on. I think this context might help. The data set is essentially a survey of all of the states. And so I think it's that like, this survey is at the national level, but it's aggregated from like the local level up to the state level up to the federal level. So it seems like at the state level, Minnesota had an input error specifically when it came to the absentee ballots. And so like now we know that Minnesota's absentee ballots had data input error. We don't know if any other part of the data set is incorrect because, like, even if Minnesota inputted the absentee ballots part wrong, they could have done every other part of the data set correctly. And also, just because Minnesota inputted things incorrectly doesn't mean that the like rest of the states are inputted incorrectly. It's interesting though because they do in 2016 for this survey, they do have caveats for every time when the data got updated, they do have like a correction notice. But Minnesota, and it will be like, Georgia updated, or like, I don't I don't know if it was Georgia, but there's like several states that were like, like this state made these corrections, and so the data file was updated or something. Minnesota never filed that, so I don't think Minnesota knows that they. I don't think the EAC, which is the commission, the election commission, that collects this survey. I don't think the EAC noticed, and I don't think Minnesota noticed. So, all of that is to say, like, I still feel pretty comfortable about the integrity of the data set. And that's why I'm looking at like a different part of the data set. And this part is a voters removed part. Um, but I need to be careful of like, if at any time, if the numbers look weird, we're going to have to just like dig into it and then either make a decision of like, do we chalk out like that data set, like that data point and like make a note in the methodologies, or like do we say like, hey, we know that there's some data input error in this methodology, but like because sometimes you might not be able to cross-reference it, so it's like a risk that you have to take for like any data set that you use, where you have to be like human error possible, or potentially chuck it, like potentially it's that I can't do this story altogether either. So I guess all of that to say, at any point when you're using a data set that you didn't create yourself, or cannot cross-reference, there will always be risks. And that's why there is the methodology section to be like, this is the things that we ran into, the potential errors that there are, and this is how we went about trying to mitigate that. So methodology sections are always really great to read. Oh, thank you so much, Chris. Yeah. What's your newsletter called? I'm also really glad that the process explanation have been helping. Yeah, I think Alice, I think I set the save the project like really quickly, and I think I just meant that I saved at least the idea, like this idea of like comparing something to the margin of victory and being like, hey, if only these ballots, these votes were counted, this outcome could have been different. So that's what I meant. Um, oh no. So the entire state had it incorrectly. Um, yeah, it was an entire state. So the Minnesota state itself. Um, yeah, exactly. Which is, so silly, but also something that happens so often where they accidentally, yeah, inputted votes accepted, or ballots, mail-in ballots, absentee ballots accepted into the rejected column. Um, yep. Hello to high altitude Cherenkov. Cherenkov. And hello to GZB Aku. GZB Aku. Um, but I guess if you've seen, I have like a few talks online at different conferences, usually like either React conferences or web conferences or dataviz conferences. So if you've gone to any of them, you might have seen one of my talks, but thank you for finding me on Twitch. GZB Aku. Oh yeah, and I have a front end master's course. Thank you for plugging that, Gilliam. Things I forget about myself. Yeah, I was considering just like inputting. No, so it's not that they swapped the columns because I don't know where. Um, I don't think they have the rejected. Like, I can't actually, in the like Eve's data set I have, I can't find the column for the rejected number of ballots. Like, I just can't find them. So it's not a matter of just like swapping them. It's that they like put the wrong thing into the rejected column, and I have no idea where they put the actual rejected numbers in. So it's actually much more involved of like a fix where I potentially have to just like, basically like input all of the Minnesota data set from the actual like state absentee report that's in PDF, like, put that into a like Excel spreadsheet, and then I have to potentially manually match up all of the counties in case they didn't like either of them didn't report. I mean, I don't have to manually, I could programmatically match them up, but then yeah. So it's not a lot of work, but it is non-trivial, and honestly, I'm just like, that's probably not worth it. Um oh, um thank you so much for talking dream. um I'm glad. I It's actually really flattering to hear that that uh that my streams have a higher ROI, but I'm sorry that the whole conference did not. That is, it makes me sad when a conference. I've definitely sat in conferences where I was like, okay, why am I here? And I'm sorry you had to go through that. Um, yeah, wait, hold on. So conceptually, Alice, that is what I'm trying to show. Yeah, so conceptually, the candidate A won by 10 votes over candidate B, but the number of rejected ballots was 130. So yeah, that's conceptually what I was trying to show. And that's why I thought I had a good story with Minnesota, because it looked like the rejected ballots was so large of a number over that like margin, the 10 votes margin, the hypothetical 10 votes margin, except it wasn't. The number of rejected ballots is like actually a very small number in Minnesota. It was like, instead of the 620,000 that I thought, which is the number of accepted ballots, which makes a lot of sense. The number of rejected ballots is only 8,000 or 9,000 rejected ballots, which is great. But then there's no story because the margin of victory was 40,000. So it's like 8,000 versus 40,000. That's fine. And so that's why I like was bummed and had to save had to try and save the story some other way. Um, no, they did not. Uh, they did not. They didn't double the votes. They just accidentally inputted the wrong number. And yeah. So honestly, I am so confused about what they did. um, and yeah. Well, there was another state that also had really high numbers for rejected ballots, and that was Nebraska. But I'm not sure. Yeah, Nebraska. But I'm not sure if that's the same problem where they had a data input error. Um, yeah, exactly. Um, uh, oh, I'm glad to hear that, Fractal King Dream. I've been told a lot that like being able to see behind the scenes is really helpful. And that's why I thought to do this kind of stream, and also I just kind of really enjoy the interactions because quarantine. Um, oh yeah. High altitude Cherenkov. That is, I've never heard of Camelot. Is that, does it just extract? Is that what? Hmm. Ooh, table extraction. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so it's a Python? Python library. Ooh. Oh, awesome. So there wasn't that many rows, so I was considering just like in the PDF. So I was just considering copy and pasting it over into like an Excel file or something. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna like make a note that like Minnesota's absentee numbers are potentially incorrect, and then may or may not actually use the absentee numbers again. I don't know. Yeah, I although um Oh, self-hosted app version of it too. Helium had a really interesting suggestion of being like, um, actually, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to describe it well, so I don't know if Gilliam, you could describe it, which is about how, um, like for certain data processing things, um, oh, Excalibur. Oh, so I've been trying to make sure to zoom into everything that I look at, but I also upgraded the output into 1080p, so hopefully things are clearer in the stream that you're watching. Um, and ooh, ooh, awesome! This makes it so much easier. Um, but I think yeah, it looks super awesome. Thank you, High Altitude Chenkov. Um, no, I haven't been able to look up that message yet. The one about potentially, if the chat would be interested in some of the data, helping with some of the data, because I do have a list of like kind of data related things, like data cleaning things or data collection sort of things, um, and whether, uh, yeah, and whether the chat would be interested in taking on any of that. Okay, wait, hold on. And while we're talking about that, I'm going to go and um, load up my iPad. So, oh man, I think my brain is slower than usual today because I was like, what is the thing I need to load up my iPad? So I actually have, um, yeah, I'm so happy now that I know about it too. I feel like PDF, like table extraction from PDF, is like one of the nightmares that I don't ever want to think about. So this is great. Um, so actually, wait, hold on. I think I might want to do it in paper. Um, okay, so there are two things that I'm interested in doing today. Um, wait, today is the 14th. Yes. So the first idea is number of actually. So, what I found was that there was about, I think, 90 something counties where the number of voters removed was more than the margin of victory. So, 90 something counties. So, and then there was, I think, 9 states. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 states where the margin, where the number of voters removed was more than the margin. Yeah. So I want to show, I might only care to show about the 9 states in this case. So what I want to highlight and communicate across is that so I was thinking maybe it really is just, I think we talked last Friday about potentially doing like a stacked bar chart, and I think I'm gonna go back to that because I think it really is just much more intuitive to follow. So I think I'm gonna do, so I think I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna do, this app is Paper by 53. Actually, if I'm only doing the 9, if I'm only doing the 9 states, maybe it's that I just do it in the most intuitive way, which is, it is just saying this is the voters removed, and then this is the margin of victory. This is the voters removed. Actually, it should be sorted by the number of voters removed. So I wonder if it would be weird if they're overlapping. Just to save some space. The reason why I didn't want to do the kind of like double, the double, the reason why I didn't want to do the bar chart, the 2 bar charts side by side the last time around was because I thought there would be many more states that I wanted to show. But if I only care about the showing the 9 states, because I don't think actually, I think I also was looking at like for the counties, which states had the most counties that kind of like had more voters removed than the margin of victory, and so that was like North Carolina and Illinois. Actually, I would love to hear your opinion about like, I think definitely seeing the 9 states. So the question would be, seeing the states where the voters removed was higher than the margin of victory. I think that's really helpful. But then is it helpful to also see, like, would you be curious about the specific counties? Um, like, would you care about that? Would it, because I feel like, would you be like, oh, these like 9 counties in Illinois have like, this much voters removed. Like, would you care about that granular level? That's what I would love to know. Um, oh, thank you, Alice. Um, yeah. So high altitude Cherenkov, the data set I have is at the county level. So I have voter registration numbers at the county level. Um, so it seems much more plausible to see voter suppression as a tactic by low-level officials rather than something mandated centrally. Interesting. Um, that is what. So I guess. Um, so this is a potential idea of ah Chris says, my gut feeling is I would like to drill down into the counties. Um, Follow-up question. Are all of us like the counties would be interesting because we're all data people and we just like looking at data. Because I want to show the counties too, but then I'm like, people care, and I don't know if I just have a biased audience. um, but I think high altitude turn club, that's a really interesting like what if I, for the counties level, tried to show um, the demographics of those counties instead. Like instead of, so if this is at the states level, um, we first show the states. Like I like your point about how it might be. So I don't have information at the county level of like for. So I think this is my understanding of this data set is that um, this is information collected at the county level, um, and it is like, and the ballot has um, has all of the offices for that election. So that would be like the president office, the like House, the Senate, local, like state, etc. So the ballot has all of the elections, and so it's a matter of like, does that ballot get counted for all of those? Like it seems like it's all or nothing. Actually, there might be like ones where they count partial. Um, yeah, there are sometimes does seem to be for the provisional ballots when they count part of a ballot instead of a full ballot. We're not going to go into those details because that sounds really complicated. But I think for in general for this data set, I think we can assume that the voter registrations and voters removed that will affect all of the election, like all of the um, offices that are being voted for, like including local and state and national. Um, so, uh, um, so I think, yeah. So isn't that interesting? They can count part of the ballot, but this data set obviously wouldn't say like which part they would have counted. Um, but I think it'd be so interesting if at the counties level, instead of trying to be like, here's all of the um numbers, like what if it's the demographics of those counties, and it's like the race and income. So let me finish the idea for the states first, and then I think also I'm gonna overlap them because to save room, because Instagram doesn't give me that much room. That's originally why also like last week I was trying really hard to like, because I thought I was going to be showing a lot, so then that's why I was trying to like save room um by like putting everything about a state into one chart or everything about a county into one chart. But yeah, I feel like for the counties level, we should do a different potential different visualization. So let's try this. Um, let me read Gilliam's idea. Yes, yes. Um, so this is the idea about so uh about let me just read it straight. Maybe there are people in the chat, newcomers to the field perhaps, who would welcome the opportunity to try their hand at some data collection, matching, enrichment, etc., and have their process looked over. Think of it like a self-assessment, if you like. Yeah, I really like this um, kind of idea of maybe it's I don't know how we like the format of it, like if you do it and then like in the next stream we talk about the process of it, or but I thought it was a really interesting suggestion, and then I wanted to see if like other people in the chat would be interested in something like that too. Um Hello DT, welcome back. It's great to see you. Yeah. Okay, so the states I quite like this way. So essentially, um, uh, this is margin of victory. And I think that would be really straightforward. Um, like this, I feel like I don't even really need to like explain what's going on, and I think people would um, intuitively be able to get voters removed. And then counties, where we look at the race and income. So let me give that a try. Um, oh yeah, thank you, Gilliam. Gilliam says if anyone's interested in kind of this trying their hand at like data collection and matching and enrichment, then feel free to message him. Yeah, thank you for offering to take that on. I'm actually really interested in seeing how that works out. Yeah, actually, that's a really cool idea. I'm really excited. Um, okay, so I'm gonna test this theory of like kind of looking at, I think it would have to be, like compare against like national average? Question mark? Like if we have to compare against something. So let's see if there is even okay, let's look at just the counties where, let me think about this. All right, let me think about how I would do this. Voters where fail to respond. Oh, I can do it this way. So I have this drop down where I have all of the ways I can filter the jurisdictions. So, okay, so now I can go and do that filter outside. So now if I choose the outside, then presumably I will only get counties where, the ratio where there's more voters removed than the margin of victory. And then let's see. That looks like for hmm. 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 How would I do this? Hmm. So we see, actually, I think this is interesting. Um, like Panola County, Missouri, where there was 180 times the removed voters than margin of victory, with 50% of the black population. So actually, I feel like there is something here. Um, yeah. So this is something. So I'm using something called Vega Light to make these like charts. Um, and they're like kind of I can make charts really quickly with them, which is great. But I have yet to figure out because this thing I'm like essentially doing small multiples of certain like attributes. I have yet to figure out how to change the scale of them individually. Um, so I'm having problems with that. Uh, but I think what I can potentially do is see if, yeah, I feel like I should be comparing against the national average. Hmm. Oh, I love that. Amy says the colors make these look like piles of autumn leaves. I love it. Um, actually, yeah, really cute. Oh, I love that metaphor. Um, that's a good. It reminds me of like visual metaphors. What would this be a visual? What would be a visual metaphor? Ah, that's also a very good intuition. High altitude Cherenkov says, should we be comparing against the national or state average for the demographics? Let's try both. So right now, I feel like what I'm let's take a look. Yeah, so these are there's quite a few of them actually still. Did I do something wrong in my other? Why does my other one only say that there's 9 states that are... Oh, this is where it's twice the... Okay, hold on. This is twice the... Wait. Yeah, that's why. I'm filtering by twice the margin. Wait, no, never mind. Ignore me. Something. I did something incorrectly. Okay, anyways. There is... I feel like there's something. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is show, let's say for... Yeah, okay. I think I'm having an idea. So, let's say that for each state, well, so this will be showing the states again. Maybe that's not a bad thing. So the idea I just had was, let's say that this is the like median here. And let's say this is Illinois. Actually, oh, last order Zecca, thank you so much for subscribing. Ooh. Yay! Oh man, I really want to draw more emotes. I'm gonna try and find some time too. So, something like, or maybe I should only be doing one of them, not race and income. I don't know. Stick with me. Okay, just an idea. And the problem is that these are on different scales, so it wouldn't make sense to put them side by side like that. But the thing that we want to show is that potentially the... So this is, let's say this is median for counties with... That is such a long name. Counties with median for counties with more voters removed. And then this one is all other counties. So I want to show I should just choose one or the other. But I feel like there's potential here. Although the problem is that for a lot of the counties, it's only a few it's only a few counties in each state that falls under this, I think. Um, so I don't know if it's fair to compare them like this. Um, I just had another thought. Um, maybe this is weird, but what if it's something like, what if it's something like, this side is um, more voters removed, and then all other counties, and then let's say this is Illinois. Um, and then something like and then draw a line, either like a line either something like a line like across like this, or maybe it's like this, or maybe you just overlap them. No, I don't think I want to overlap them, because I think if I overlap them, then it'd be really hard to see. Or maybe I say median. Maybe like that. Um, Thank you. I did not notice that the iPad is in the background, but there we go. Those are my ideas. Um, oh, thank you so much, Last Order. Um, oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that have you had a chance to take the new one, the new D3 course, or I put a lot of effort into that one. But yes, okay, sorry, that was behind. Yep, that was silly. Okay, so what I was mumbling to myself was the counties with more voters removed. So basically on this side, um is the county with more voters removed, and on the other side is all other counties. And then I wanted to show some way of showing like um, the difference, like the difference in median between the two. And oh, actually, what if I do it this way? Oh, actually, you know what? Let me not, let me hold on to that. Let me not erase that. Um, This time the iPad is in the front. Yes, it is. Okay, good, good. I can do what are those things called? The step ladder? Is that what that chart is called? Step chart? So then that way I can do like this is the median, and then it goes like this or something like that. Yeah, yeah, and then it'd be really clear if it went up or down. I like this idea. So I will choose this one. Cool. Okay, so we don't have time to do this. Oh man, I am so excited about this design. Very excited. Oh wait, hold on. I want to get your like so I want to get your opinions about if this makes sense. So this is essentially this is gonna be like if this will be intuitive or not. So this is essentially the either the income or percent Black population. And then for counties with more voters removed versus all other counties, and I'll do this for I think the counties, sorry, for the states with the most voters removed. I think I'll do that. And yeah, so I want to ask you all if imagine this repeated for every repeated for like 8 or 9 states. If you just saw this with like these kind of labels, would it make sense to you? Oh, and I should say that let's say that you know, I should also label that. Let me take out my happy confetti because that's not actually a part of the graph. Okay, taking out happy confetti. Okay, so then let's say that these are also the median. Okay, so let me know if that actually makes sense. So what I mean by more voters removed is the counties where, and I'll annotate that properly in the actual graph. I just don't have enough room with my messy handwriting. So what I mean by that is it is the counties where more voters were removed than the ultimate margin of victory in 2016. So oh, cool. Oh, awesome. Last order, Zeka. Yes. Cool, cool. Glad to hear that. Hi, Shea Films. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Ooh, Mr. Extremely. The web flow went awesomely yesterday. So did not finish. And I'm gonna get it to a good point by Thursday, so that Friday morning at the same time we'll have a stream, and we're going to finish it up. And in that stream, Nelson, the Pixel Geek from Webflow, is going to join and also help with the, and he's going to help me finish the rest of the the website. He's going to help me with like some of the more advanced features, which I'm really excited about. Some other neutral color. I was thinking about coloring it by whoever had the higher or lower median. Um, I don't know. Actually, I guess by that logic, we can definitely also just do this, huh? Where we just use black. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Um, so the x-axis is buckets of counties in a state, and where one is more voters removed, and the other is all their counties, and the y-axis is either going to be income or the percent Black population. Um, Christian mirrors, I feel like we're not trying to have a positive trend because the higher it is, um, that means that it's worse because. Oh, wait, hold on. Actually, it depends on which one I use. Income or. I'll play around with. I feel like it depends on if we use income or percent Black population. I think I'm leaning towards percent Black population. Um, And if that's the case, if it trends higher for more voters removed, that's actually bad because that means that there is potentially something going on. Um, that's fair. I think I am asking a audience that are much more data and chart savvy. Uh, High altitude Chenkov says, seems good otherwise, but I read a lot of graphs. Um, Pandemic watch. Good call, blue glow. Huh. I don't know either. So I haven't actually looked into whether, like, I think the data will support this hypothesis of, because if we look at the income, um, then this right now is showing only the counties with more voters removed. If I limit the other way around to all of the other counties, then I think, yeah, um, I'm not 100% sure yet if the data will support this visual. I have to actually go and I think I'm just going to try and build it. Um, so I'm not 100% about this story, but I think we'll see something. We'll see something in the data, and I think it will support this. So, ignore exactly this label, because I'm definitely going to I'm gonna definitely relabel this to be something much better. This was like me trying to fit um, yeah, this was just me trying to fit the thought in. Um, uh, not quite sure the question about. You mean this one has more, but the next graph might be labeled less. Uh, no. I think I'm gonna build it and then get your reactions. Um, so actually, yeah. Um, Hello, Arrhythmia XX. Thanks for joining the chat. Asks, how is everyone today? I think we're doing well. I'm pretty excited about the ideas that we have. Yeah, I'm like not 100% certain if this will work, if this visualization will work, but I think if it does work, then I feel potentially pretty good about it. So let's try the other. Let's try the other design, or let's try and work on the other design. So actually, I wanted to code a little bit today, but we might not have time. So the other idea that I wanted to get out the design for, actually, been really great to do the design with you all because like you give me great ideas. And so the other one is so this is going to be all right, let me try and explain this idea. Yeah. I'll try building the two versions. I mean, yeah, I can swap the two variables pretty easily, income or population, and see which one shows a better story. Yeah. Um, yeah. So the second story idea is, and I think, yeah. So that one is going to be the number of poll workers to a voter for early voting versus election day. So the story for this one is see if so potentially the more poll workers, the intuition is the more poll workers and or locations. I'm not 100% sure if I want to do poll workers or locations. Or locations, then okay, and the iPad is in the front. Okay. Um, more poll, more poll workers, the less wait time. That is the theory, or which means that maybe we should be doing locations, like instead of poll workers. But either way, the more locations or more workers, volunteers, then the less wait time. So then what I want to see is, let's say this is going to be, then this way is going to be more, let's say locations, or let's say, yeah, I haven't decided which one yet. More workers per person during election day. And then going down is going to be less workers per person. And so then it could be like, actually, let's, because then this way I want people to be able to see their own state. So let's actually make this alphabetical order. So, okay, like Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, etc. And then like maybe it's that like it goes this way, and this goes this way, and this goes this way, or something like that. And the idea is then you can look up your own state. You can find your own state and be like, oh, like in the past, there's been more wait time or less wait time on election day than early voting. And for this year, everything is up in the air. So I should just be prepared and like look up potential early voting versus, election day locations, and actually just prepare to early vote. Is what I'm trying to get out of this graph. And I'm hoping for the sake of story that there's more going down like this than going up. That is the hope. But yeah. This is the second idea. Does that make sense? So it's essentially the difference between poll workers per person on election day versus poll workers per person during early voting. So then this would be like potentially more wait time. So make plans to vote early. Also, this year is unpredictable. So if you can, vote early. That will be the story / message of this story. Yeah, I think so. So I think the data, at least historical data, is saying that like there are generally more workers or more locations per person on election day. So this might be moot, or it might just be that we still show it and be like, this is how it's been historically, but like this year is unpredictable. So if you can, vote early. So you don't want to be in line like for like hours. Yeah, like you don't want to be in line for hours. I think there is also another angle where we look at the counties with the least number of poll locations. So least number of poll locations or workers and compared to demographic. I feel like that's a separate story, actually. It's a separate story. Yeah. Okay. Are there numbers for crunch time on election day? By crunch time, numbers for crunch time? I'm not sure what you mean by crunch time. But it's really hard to get data on poll locations for this year because a lot of states haven't been have yeah it's I think it seems like they're revealing the poll locations later this year, so it's been quite hard to get this data. Yeah. So, I don't know if so. Gilliam says, I don't know if two people are available, but there are thousands of ballots to open on the last day. Is that quantified? I meant, I don't know if two people are available there, but there are thousands of ballots to open. Or numbers about people who are maybe turned away because there just wasn't time for them to cast their ballot. Yeah, so that would be really great data. I just don't know where I would find that data. I don't know if, I don't know. So there is this site from MIT called Elections Performance Index, and they have all these different indicators. Actually, this is quite good also. Yeah. Registrations. So actually, a lot of this, they're using the same data set that I am, the Eve's data set, and then they also have voting wait time, which is based on this survey I think MIT conducted, which is the survey of the performance of American elections. And I think that there might be interesting things in here that I just haven't had a chance to go and clean. But this one actually might be a really good opportunity. But this one, the main concern I have with it is that it's a survey of like, I think a randomly, or I don't know how they selected people, but it's like, I think it's probably, yeah, I don't know how they selected the people that took these surveys, but it seems like it's built off of voters. Yeah, like I think a random sampling of voters and their experience in their county, voting in their county. So it might be good, but I just haven't had a chance to like analyze it. Um, yeah, so actually, this one would be a really good one if anybody is interested in looking at and potentially analyzing. Yeah, so for that's not it. For today, I think that those are the designs I wanted to come up with. I think I might. Should I get started on this? Um, nope. I have 12 minutes. So I think I'm going to wrap up here. Um, and I'll come back on Friday with the second part of the Webflow stream, which means that I might not be able to give an update on these particular stories until or before they're published. I hope there are still good stories, and I hope they do get published. um, but yeah, I hope they do get published. Um, but if not, then I'll explain next week what the story ended up being. Um, yeah, so I think I'm gonna end here for the day. This was the main things that we ended up with. Um, and yeah, I don't think I heard y'all's opinions on this one as much, but I guess that's okay. Um, thank you everyone for joining today. I will see you on Friday for Webflow. And if not, I'll see you next Wednesday, if not earlier. And I decide to do an impromptu stream. So thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you have a great afternoon. Bye bye.